Welcome to the No Limits podcast with Lisa Jakovsky. As an author, Lisa shares fellow authors whose work has a special message. Aspiring writers find these conversations inspiring and helpful for their own upcoming or current journey. In addition, Lisa's experience helps families with children or adults with special needs, or anyone interested in autism or psychology in general. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the No Limits podcast with Lisa Jakovsky.
Hello, and welcome to the No Limits podcast with Lisa Jakovsky. I have Aydrea Walden, writer, with me today. How are you, Aydrea?
I'm super good. How are you?
I am good, and I am so excited to talk to you. We have a lot to talk about. Yay. Can you first tell us about your career as a writer and what drew you to write for children's television and movies?
So I grew up in South Texas, and I was very shy. I was a very awkward kid. I didn't have a ton of friends, but I loved television. And so on my Friday nights when other kids were going to, the mall or whatever popular children did, I was at home watching TV. And that is where I fell in love with that kind of storytelling, watching characters on TV, going through things that I was going through and coming out the other side made me feel really comforted and made me feel like I could come through to the other side of the things I was going through. So that is where I fell in love with television specifically and that kind of storytelling. But I grew up in South Texas, a relatively small town in South Texas. My parents are an accountant and an engineer. No one in my family is an artist or creative.
Oh, wow.
So it was a big question mark as to how to move from Corpus Christi, Texas to Hollywood. So my first career, what I could parse when I was younger was I wanted to write, I wanted to do it for big brands on a big scale. So my first career was journalism because that was at least telling stories. This was back when newspapers were a going concern. And so it was the written word, written down, going out to people all over the country. And I did that for a couple of years. And when you're a baby reporter, you have to cover a lot of crime. And I did not like that. I had to go to a lot of just crime scenes. I ended up, just ended up in a lot of really intense situations. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I with a job offer on the table, I was like, I'm going to give this Los Angeles thing a try. I had a boyfriend at the time who was also a reporter in the town I was in. And he also wanted to come to LA. So together we had enough bravery and we drove from Washington State to Los Angeles. And I ended up getting my first job through a series of random coincidences at Nickelodeon Animation Studios. And so my first mentors in television were animation writers, kids and family writers. And that is what began the journey.
I read that on your LinkedIn and online too. And we're going to get into all of that too. But oh my gosh, I can't believe you worked for so many different places. I mean, you've worked for
so
you mentioned Nickelodeon, Mattel,
My first job was at Nickelodeon, and from Nickelodeon I moved from Nickelodeon to Disney. So Disney for a while. I was out of the industry for a little bit, but I came back and worked at DreamWorks Animation, feature animation for quite a while. Then what is now Peacock Kids and what was then DreamWorks TV, I think. But it's now Peacock Kids, Mattel, Netflix. I just got to go to the Emmys with one of the shows that the Emmy-winning Ada Twist was very exciting.
That's incredible.
Baby's first Emmys, it was so exciting. And now I am at Paramount Plus Awesomeness working on the iCarly reboot.
Oh my God, I did see that you were working on iCarly. So it's a reboot that they're doing.
Yes, I'm working on the third season. There have been 2 other seasons that have come out, and I'm working on the third season right now.
That is crazy. Oh my gosh. We're definitely going to get into what you're doing now, but I really want to talk about Black Girl in a Big Dress too. Because I know that's that's a really, really big thing. That's what I've heard most about. I have questions about your other shows and stuff too, but you're the creator and star of Black Girl in a Big Dress. Can you tell us about it and your inspiration for that? Creator and star, that's incredible. And
so
it's so fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Black
It's
Girl
so
with a Dress
good.
is the web series I made. It is about a period drama super fan trying to date in 21st century Los Angeles with 19th century, overly romanticized 19th century ideals. So in real life, I do historical costuming. I put on big dresses and I go to balls and teas and picnics and things like that, kind of in the style of the Victorian era or the Regency era, typically is what I do. And a few years ago, so right now Hollywood is in this really, I think, more comprehensive inclusion period where I think Hollywood is thinking much more critically about being really inclusive. A number of years ago, there was kind of another diversity push that I just don't think was as well structured. So at that time, I would get called into meetings and then people would look at me and see that I was a Black woman and they would immediately only pitch me like urban crime, drug dramas. And like those are fine, but my personal background, like I grew up in a community called Breckenridge. I speak French and play the flute, and I just don't really. I'm not a gritty. Like, I'm not gritty. I'm just happy and playful and light, and it was really frustrating. So I made Black Girl in a Big Dress because I wanted to create something that was so completely me. And I said to a friend, I just wish there was a show where that was like had British sensibility and a sketch comedy sensibility where I get to wear cool costumes and like talk about dating. And my friend was like, why don't you make that? And I said, okay. So I did.
Yeah. That is so incredibly inspiring because you talk about how they used to pitch you based on just your look and who you are. And that's not okay. That's typecasting. And, it's so inspiring to see you as a woman of color and a woman making your own show, starring your own show, doing what you love. That is so incredibly inspiring. And you mentioned that there is a big push for diversity, and that's what we need so much more of. That's why I was so excited to interview you, and reading about your career. Like, my God, it's incredible. It's such a cool career.
Thank you. It's very fun. I like it. I'm very happy. I'm doing what I love. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. I like this as much as I thought I would like it. So I'm very, very happy about it.
That is so incredibly inspiring too, because it's not easy to break into a field like that, you know, and even just being a woman, period, it's not easy to break into things, especially with writing, you know, so like the fact that you did and, you kept at it no matter what, and now you have your own show that you're starring in, like, that's so cool.
Thank you. It's been really fun. It's been a journey, but it's been a good one.
That is so amazing. Like, it's really based on you and like what you love to do, because it's such a different, cool idea. Like, I love the Victorian area. And then I'm watching these episodes. I'm like, this is really neat. This is so different and fun.
Thank you. Yeah, we worked really hard on it. Thank you.
Oh my God, you should be. Oh, we're going to get into Disney and Nickelodeon. You've written for Disney, Junior, Nickelodeon, Mattel, some big names. I saw like the Croods, Trolls. What has been your favorite to work on out of everything you've done?
Oh, everything's so different. And just for clarity, I did production on Croods and Trolls. Those things I did at DreamWorks I worked on the production side. It's I did not write those movies, just for clarity from the very top.
No, that's okay. That still must have been incredible. I mean, Trolls, that's like a cultural phenomenon.
Everything's really different and everything's really special in its own capacity. Sometimes things are really fun because they're particularly challenging. With one of the things that's really cool about Ada Twist, for example, is that we are talking about completely accurate scientific concepts, but making them intellectually, developmentally accessible for preschoolers, which is hard to do. So that's kind of fun. Another show I worked on at Disney Junior, Eureka, that was really fun. The show was so vibrant and expansive, and we built this really cool, amazing world. I got to work on a Barbie property, which is really fun because I wasn't allowed to have Barbies growing up, so it was very exciting to get to work on a Barbie property as an adult. Working on iCarly Wow, it's this beloved series from the 2000s, and so you're doing all of this fan service, but also trying to tell interesting stories. So everything is really exciting and cool for its own reasons.
It sounds like it. I mean, oh my gosh, iCarly, working on Ada Twist, working for Disney, Nickelodeon. You worked on Thomas the Train, All Engines Go.
Another iconic property that people love, love, love. And, we got this great update for this generation. And yeah, it was amazing to be part of. Yeah.
Have you ever, kind of gotten like starstruck or geeked out working on any of this stuff?
I get really excited. I have this really unfortunate quirk that when I see like a celebrity I really like, I become very mean, and I don't know why. I don't do it on purpose. I will I'm usually honestly far enough removed from meeting like talent that is not usually an issue, but every once in a while, like I got to meet a comedian who I followed, who I loved, who I adored. We were introduced to each other. She was like, yes, let's work together on this really specific thing. Here's my email. And I was like, I'm sorry, what's your email? How do you spell? I just can't control myself. So luckily I'm far enough removed from talent that doesn't happen very often. But yeah, I think every project is really cool when you kind of sort of realize what you're working on for the first time. And sometimes that's when you drive onto the lot for the first time. And there's these, like I'm working on the Paramount lot right now, which is such a beautiful historic space. And you can just kind of feel the history. And sometimes you see fan letters come in, and yeah, it's exciting.
That's so cool. You get fan letters.
Yeah, I mean the shows do. I don't, but the shows do. And so especially now with like, social media, you see someone will post about the show, and just like so many people will join in the conversation, and it's very cool.
Yeah. That's gonna be so incredible. Oh my gosh. Like even just reading over your career, I was geeking out earlier. I'm like, oh my gosh, who did Craig Carlisle refer me to? Like, you're amazing. This is so
fantastic. I'm just grabbing water. Hold on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like your career, the things you get to do. Oh my gosh. All the updated stuff, like stuff that I grew up with. Like it's so nice to see that stuff come back and have this generation actually have these amazing shows, and all the diversity that's coming out, all the cultural stuff that's coming out. It's just so incredible. I love everything.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting to be a part of.
Oh my God, I agree. You also have a blog, and you turned it into a one-woman show, the Oreo Experience, a total whitey trapped in a black girl's body. Can you tell us about that and the inspiration for that? And by the way, congrats on its East Coast premiere.
Thank you. Yeah, so I ran a blog for kind of the same. I think one of the interesting things about the way that I grew up was I'm Black. I grew up in kind of a white neighborhood. I went to a Black church. I was kind of the only Black kid in my school for a long time. And I just never really fit into either world, really. I was like just kind of caught between cultures. And so the Oreo Experience, which is, I started the blog a long time ago. I don't know that I would start it today with that name, but that was certainly a nickname that I was given because I was Black, but I liked, an Oreo, someone who's Black on the outside, white on the inside. So I was given that nickname because I did things like play the flute and love Renaissance fairs, and they're like, oh, you're Black, you can't like those things. So I used to tell just a lot of stories about that anecdotally, and then I just started collecting them and writing them in the blog. And then the blog became more of a satire project, and that character kind of took off on her own. And then after I had enough material, I turned that into a one-woman show that just follows that character kind of coming to terms with her identity. And it's been really fun. And I got to sing 2 songs. My other thing that I wanted to when I wanted to go to Broadway and do musical theater, but I just I didn't pursue that at all. So sometimes I just write a show where I get to sing, and that scratches that itch, which is great.
That's amazing. I did see that you wrote a couple of songs. Do you like to write songs for shows too? Do you get to do that?
Well, I should say that I am every time I write, I can kind of write lyrics. I had a songwriting mentor on that show. Her name is Jocelyn Schofield. She's amazing. She wrote the music and also helped me finesse the lyrics to make them work. So I can kind of write lyrics, but I have to partner with a musician and real lyricist to make those lyrics make absolute sense and to get the music out. But I do love show tunes. I do love theater music. So yeah.
That's amazing. But we're not going to get to see you on Broadway anytime soon. That would be so incredible. You're right here. I got to see it.
Well, as you know, if anything changes. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be something like you can like email me about. I'm in Jersey. I would totally love to come and see.
Oh my gosh, yes, very easy commute.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. You literally do everything. You write, you do production, you act, and you sing.
Sure,
what do they call it? A threat?
Sure, yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like you just have to. It's just the, I don't like the words hustle and grind, but it is part of the journey, is as you're building your career, you know, part of that building is practicing it whatever way you can. And so you can't always wait, for someone to give you a writing assignment. You have to be working on your writing all the time anyway. So these were the ways that
Any books coming? Or are you sticking to?
I've never written a novel. I did some work with the Nebula Awards, which is awards for science fiction and fantasy books and novels and short stories. And so I met a bunch of novelists and I got really inspired and was like, oh, I'm going to write a novel. And then I was like, oh, after, you know, all these years of screenwriting, I'm like, a novel is so many words. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is too many words. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm the exact same way. I'm also a children's book author, so I get asked all the time, are you going to write like chapter books? And I'm like, really? I don't know about that.
I should jump up. I mean, children's books writing is its own very specific craft and skill. And like, once you get in your lane, it's just, it's such a very specific skill set. And then doing something new is fun, but it is like it's a journey.
It is. And I watched my friends like do it and post about it on social media. And I'm like, God bless you guys.
Yes.
Do you think that's harder, or like writing a children's book would be harder than writing for TV?
I mean, writing children's books, I think people think it's very easy because they're short and they're for kids, but it's its own really particular skill set. And it's, there's a difference between the ones that are done well and the ones that are not done well. And it's tough. Like you have to make sure you're being developmentally appropriate and that you're not speaking too low or too, it's like such a niche, like to thread that needle. And I mean, I've done a lot of preschool writing and it's tricky. It's just its own really particular skill set.
You definitely understand it. Because that's what I write in a lot of, you know, and it's not as easy people think. I 100% agree.
Yeah. You have to communicate so much, so simply, so quickly, and in such like, you know, but also like so playfully. And there's so much that kids just don't understand. So like in a novel, you can cut around, you can flash forward and flash back and talk about an inner monologue or even like dreams. And there's even a point where kids don't quite know like what a dream versus imagination. Like it's really, and then like
more, but so much work.
They're so long. Yes, I love reading them, but they're
Ew. Maybe one day though. Can you tell us what you're working on now? What's next for you? You're doing so much and you've done so much. My gosh, I'm so excited to see everything.
So right now, I don't know exactly when this is coming out, but as we're recording this, we are chugging along with this third season of iCarly. I don't know when that is going to be released. And I have, you know, I'm doing the sort of life cycle of a writer. I have some things in development, various places. I have a couple of new samples that I'm building. I'm working on a couple of pitches. So yeah, I don't know what jobby job I'll have after iCarly wraps in about a month, but I feel very excited. I had a Christmas movie come out on VH1 this week.
Oh my God, congrats! What is it called?
It's called A New Diva's Christmas Carol.
I did see that. I know it just came out. I'm gonna go look it up.
It came out, and yeah, so maybe more Christmas movies. I don't know. We will see what happens after
Amazing. This comes out in February, so I can't wait to see what's out by then. And I'm gonna look up a Diva's Christmas Carol. That looks so good.
There's a Diva's Christmas Carol which came out. I'm gonna get the year wrong. The original stars Vanessa Williams and came out. I can't remember what. I'm blanking on the year, but this is a new Diva. Yeah, it was really
new. So I know I saw it. Okay, so it's a new one. So is it like an update or is it like a completely different one?
It's a totally new characters, but kind of in the same vein.
That's amazing. I know I've been seeing commercials and trailers for it, and I saw it on your bio too. I'm definitely going to look it up because I love stuff like that. And my best friend would totally love it too, because when I text her and told her I was talking to you, she started geeking out.
Oh, that's sweet.
She watches your show, A Black Girl in a Big Dress, and she was like, "Oh my God."
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You are incredible. Do you have any advice for future writers? Anyone, even women trying to get into writing, into animation?
I mean, I feel like the things that would have. So I've been in Los Angeles. Things are, rock and rolling and doing incredibly well right now. I have been in Los Angeles for 21 years. So I will. Yeah, I've been here a long time. It has been a journey and sometimes a slog. It's been great, but and sometimes it happens faster. Sometimes this is just the pace that it takes. A few things that come to mind things that I wish my younger self had known is that one, sometimes just staying in and playing the long game. One of the things that's really exciting in my life right now is I see so many people who I trained at Second City for a while. So many people from like that community who are popping now, 15 years after we took those classes. Sometimes it just takes time.
Okay. I think patience.
It takes just a lot of patience and just staying in and as consistent as you can be. So for some people, especially for writers, I think the three things you need writing. So 3 or 2. I used to have this. You need writing that people can easily find, and I'll circle back to that in a second. You need a network. I feel like there's a third thing. I think those are the 2 things. You need writing that people can easily access and experience, and you need a network. And so when I say writing that people can easily access, so I did my one-woman show. I used to do stand-up. I used to do storytelling, not because I wanted to be a professional stand-up, but because it was easier for me to say, hey, do you want to listen to 5 minutes of stand-up rather than say, hey, can you read 90 pages? And so being open to those other channels of getting your creativity out. The blog was the same way. People could read 2 or 3 blog posts in 10 minutes, and it was a way to understand, oh, she can write, and I get what her point of view is. If you only have scripts, samples might work, but I am a fan of like diversify where you can. And for people who might hear that and say, well, I could never do stand-up, I'm too shy. I am naturally very shy. This persona is a skill that I learned. Like, I am a total introvert. I don't really feel shy anymore, but being outgoing and being able to talk to people easily is a skill that I learned to do on purpose. And so I would encourage people to do that. And then building a network. This is a relationship-based industry. Like, it's a relationship-based industry. It doesn't mean you have to schmooze all the time, but it does mean that you need to be in consistent contact with other professionals in whatever way works for you. So for some people, that might be going to parties all the time. For some people, that might be an email they send out every quarter. For some people, that might be Zoom coffees. For some people, that might be regular coffees. For some people, it might be a party they host at their house. It doesn't really matter. It's just about finding what works for you.
That is, wow. That's phenomenal advice.
Thank you. And so in terms of pages, like you have to have pages. When I'm not on deadline, my goal is 2 pages a day. I can always do 2 pages. And if you do 2 pages a day, you can have a sitcom written in 2 weeks. You can have 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how long your thing is. You can have a movie written in a month or 2, depending on, again, at 2 pages a day. Almost anyone can do 2 pages a day. Now, for some people, they might say 10 pages a day. Great. Whatever it is, just the consistency.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That is huge advice. I never thought about branching out and how that can really help with a career. And I love the advice about just doing 2 pages a day as like a minimum.
Yeah.
You know, the little things add up, and that's what really makes things.
It does.
Like
and
that is
at 2 pages a day, you can bang out 2 pages in, I mean, like inside of an hour, hour and a half, or less if you're just like, and they don't have to be good pages because you're going to edit them later. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh. And some days you're going to do more. Some days you're going to be in the groove and you're going to do more. But something like that is really key. And then because then when you do meet people, you do have things to show them, and you do have things to show for yourself, which is very important.
I love that. And I'm probably going to start taking that advice too, because life gets so busy, but doing 2 pages a day, like that's so easy. That's easier than writing a paper for school.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And also, something that helped me was I used the text to speech or speech to text function on my computer a lot. I don't even type my 2 pages all the time. Sometimes it's easier if you're doing prose. I don't actually know how that works in Final Draft, but sometimes that's plenty. Like, even you can find ways to make it easy for yourself. You can record those 2 pages and type it up later, record those 2 pages, give it to someone else to type. So it's like just doing what it takes to get some consistency in place.
That is really smart. I didn't think about that. I've written stuff like in my phone in my notes, but that would actually make it so much easier.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is phenomenal advice, Aydrea. Thank you.
Great, welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, like the listeners are going to love this. Oh my goodness. Is there anything else you want to tell us about that you're working on that's coming up?
Yeah, other than everyone, let's see. What do I have that's out that I know? I also like to want to leave anything out. I'm very excited for when the next season of iCarly comes out, but I don't know when that's going to be. If you've got little ones, shows that I worked on that are out right now, Eureka, super great. It's like a little cave girl inventor. Ada Twist is out. Thomas is out. Barbie, It Takes Two is more for like tweens. And another really great Netflix Michelle show called Dimple and the Noob. I'm trying to think of anything else that I know of that's out right now that people should go check out.
We're going to. My boyfriend's daughter will love all of that. She loves the Thomas and like, I'm going to have her watch because she's 2.5.
Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect. Yes.
We're always looking for new stuff for her too, so she will love all of this. And I've watched Eureka. Eureka is amazing. I love that show.
Thank you. It was a really fun show to work on. Yeah,
Aydrea, you are incredible. Thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Oh well, thank you for talking. Well, thank you. You're very sweet. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Oh my gosh,
talk about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to continue to follow your career and see everything that comes out. My gosh. You're seriously, you're doing so amazing. I love everything that you're doing. And you're really showing women that we can do it and other people that want to be writers.
Yes.
It can be so discouraging trying to get in the field. So this is incredible.
And people, I love chatting about networking specifically. So if people want to like find me on social media and like ask me questions about networking, I think I don't read a ton of people's stuff, in part just because that's just a bigger time commitment that I don't have. And so I would rather leave that to people who have more time available for that at the moment. But if people ever want to ask quick questions about networking or connecting with people, I love chatting about that stuff.
Where can everyone find you?
I'm the only Aydrea Walden on earth. So if you Google me, if you Google my name, all of my socials will come up, and all of my socials are variations of Black Girl in a Big Dress. Instagram, it's blackgirl_big dress. Twitter is BLK Girl Big Dress, and LinkedIn is my name.
I have you on LinkedIn. I got to go follow you on everything else now. And I'm going to promote everything and share everything. You're just incredible. Oh my gosh.
Let's go out there and do it. Let's all go out there and do it. We can all do it.
I agree completely. Thank you so, so much, Aydrea. I appreciate you so much for coming on and everything that you're doing, and for diversity and bring culture to the screen. You're incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much again. My name is Lisa Jakovsky. This is the No Limits podcast with Lisa. And if you'd like to come on, please reach out to me on my website, www.lisajayauthor.com. Thank you so much.